this is what it's going to request when you need to install the codec for X.
Right.
And then it passes it off to backend.
Then maybe goes and downloads the usual RPMs, but packs them in a weird place.
Yeah, or it doesn't. So there's lots of different backends. It doesn't even have to be RPM based, right? If the correct way to install Flash is to go here and download the tarball and whatever, right? We can add.
It can be arbitrarily.
Right. We can add as many hooks as we want for the various things to support this.
I think it's a great idea. I would like to say something maybe controversial. Instead of writing a new backend, we definitely need a new front end. For the backend, I was thinking that maybe we would like to convert EXO bundles to RPMs when we are running on Fedora, to D packages, and if we're running on Ubuntu and so on.
Yeah, that's actually.
Let's talk more about that.
So
automatic building a package.
Let's do it another
Keep
time.
going, Scott.
So you should read package kit before you discuss the package kit part of it, because it is nicely separated, and most of the stuff is kind of down in implementation level. The Fedora land, which was part 3, which was time permitting, and I don't know if time permits, but that's kind of where we could get into that. Is there a better way to play with upstream Fedora? Can we fork all these packages? Can we track our forks better? Are there better ways to manage dependencies and keep Perl out of our builds?
Peter Robinson, baby.
Well, I was talking to J5 about this too, and he's working on workflow tools for
the My Fedora stuff.
Yeah, so that say we could create a workflow for how do I fork a Fedora package for OPC, and you go through the workflow and it guides you through the right steps. And the unprivileged installation part of that is the part that Bernie mentioned briefly.
Bernie might be fucking up.
Yeah.
One important thing in this area is that Yum, I think at Yum has go out over the network, get what I need from the latest, greatest repositories automatically. But our case is more like
Don't think about it.
offline. It's all packaged up, and I just put it on there. So just be careful not to assume the network.
That's not
It just
how
means
that
it's a
works.
local repository. It doesn't make any difference.
Okay. So syncing up when it's a
Isn't
local.
actually that broken, but it used to be.
And the other thing, which is not in this talk, but maybe in my next talk, is I would like to propose a much better caching architecture, so that there are a lot of pieces of software which assume they can go out to the network and find X. And if we have a sane caching architecture, that stuff can still continue to work.
This is there's an interesting Fedora in this issue as well. In the direction of people being
A little louder, the camera can't get you.
There was a discussion on Fedora Devel within the last few weeks about people being unhappy about there being no central place to configure HTTP caching infrastructure and have apps respected.
And when Martin comes, we can fight over whether that should be transparent or manual with an explicit proxy or whatnot. Anyway, so this was the brief outline of my talk.
A participant has joined the conference.
So we have. So if Marco and Sayamindu would like to say what I left out.
I have a question pertaining to what was left out here. You guys have done.
So this, I'm not sure if it's working for like implementation that is.
We've got 15 minutes left in our time slot, so I guess why don't we see if people have general questions, and then if not, we'll attempt the rest of it.
I have one question, general question.
Sure.
But I've already spoken twice on this. So how close does this get us to, is there any chance, to put it this way, that in March, they'll say, oh, okay, you have this application runs on Red Hat, and these 2 windows, no problem, 2 clicks, and it'll run on sure.
So this sorts basically, not all of this is even necessary, but not even all the stuff that we're talking about is necessary to play what
Okay.
more. Just actually a small part. There is a tool, the deployment, for example, of other components of the system that doesn't play nicely. I call them desktop application. Legacy is not there.
The .desktop files would be most
the desktop files, and
This gets
there
you,
is
this
the one
gets you from
interaction
10% to
with
40%.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is
So-
part of the puzzle, but not all the puzzle.
And, yeah, so I took this from my proposal, but you're right. So,
And then you-
the journal stuff, I guess I'll talk about later, because that's my idea of doing the desktop files is a very interesting one.
And there's also the question of how do you install the application? Do you install it or do you package it in so and
Right. How do you, the sugar activities list, does it list all the applications you have installed in your system, or does it just install sugar activities? How do you, if it just shows sugar activities, how do you get to something which is not a sugar activity, which is installed?
Yeah, that's one of those questions that.
So the only concern, what's the downside here? It's like, all right, it's a lot of code, it's a lot of work. Is it going to radically change the way it looks? So everyone has to rewrite their manuals, or?
no, it's not going to change the UI.
Yeah, it should be.
So no cost at all? It's just like.
Well, the cost is development.
So hang on. So here's a question. Okay. One of the weird things that we decided to do when embarking on this whole endeavor was to try to provide some stronger security guarantees than have been provided before on other systems. We've gotten some distance in that direction, and so some people would like to go further. I've also heard it said, though not backed up with any arguments to date, that people feel that this direction that we've moved in has hindered compatibility with other applications. I can certainly see instances where that's been true in the past, though I think worked fairly quickly to resolve. So one question that we will rapidly find ourselves facing as we pursue this task is what security properties we can provide about the system as a whole in places where it starts incorporating more and more random software that doesn't know anything about it.
Do you think the current Rainbow or your next design of Rainbow, which is 3D, which areas of computers without thinking about new features, but the stuff which is currently implemented, do you see conflicts with these plans?
No, I don't see any specific conflicts with this path.
Because Eric, I know that Eric was pretty standard.
Eric is pretty unhappy with it, but he hasn't explained why.
Yeah,
So the concern that I actually have is more like that posed by the problems that Fedora has improving the support for SMEs, which is that it requires adding a lot of information. Rainbow's been better than that so far because it attempts to do much less than what SMEs attempts to do, so it requires much less information. But as we start trying to turn up the security guarantees we make about the system as a whole, I could foresee us starting to require more information, starting to require people to say, yes, I actually need this.
Yeah, so my only question is, how large is that? Is it, as long as it's reasonable to ship a large thing, I'm fine with setting up a wiki page where people can add, settings for their favorite applications, and we'll just ship them all as long as they're not huge. Right? If I need to say that Firefox and some other applications need to run in constant UID mode, and that when I record my desktop, it expects access to the camera, I can stick all that crap in a desktop. That's more or less the way that window managers have dealt with poorly functioning applications in various ways. Most window managers have a long list of tweaks where they recognize specific application names and they say, this is crazy. It's become,
you can do without.
it's become much less important now that most applications are well behaved.
Yeah.
Like TWM had a long list because in those days all applications were badly behaved. Now it's
Can we accept some
well, my point is that it's reasonable for us to compile some master list even of software we don't ship. As long as it's fairly lightweight. It's less reasonable for us to do a complete sugar wrapper for each application that could possibly.
Right. Well, but what you're describing amounts to a complete sugar wrapper that has a pretty good default case and that has a low rate.
Yeah, my idea is, if